Los Angeles, California, it's Landed Late Night. Tonight's guest, Caroline Hoenemeyer. And now, your host, Haley Ringo.
Welcome back to Late Night. I'm your host, Haley Ringo. Tonight, we have a woman who is not afraid to dress any elephant in the room. She recently just launched season 3 of her web series, Dating Myself. Please welcome Caroline Hoenemeyer. Yay! Dude, I was just saying, like, whenever I say your last name, it makes me smile automatically. Hoenemeyer.
It is a really cute
It's
name.
a really cute name. I love your pink shoes.
Thank you.
Oh my
I'm
God,
wearing my
matching.
Dating Myself socks.
Oh my God,
They say
merch,
me.
baby. Yeah. So excited that you came on the show.
I'm so happy to
Your
be here.
your web series is hysterical.
Oh my God, thank you.
So it's called Dating Myself, and it focuses on depression and dating specifically, right?
Yes.
But obviously there's comedy because she's fucking hilarious, but
Yes.
also exposing the reality of dealing with mental health, but also in like a lighthearted way that makes it less taboo and is extremely relatable. That's like what I wrote down when I was
Thank
writing
you.
cue cards. These beautiful cue cards.
Yes.
I was like relatable, and I underlined it, a bunch because it is so relatable. Every episode I was watching, I was like, yup.
Yes.
You okay?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Hey, could you look up at me? This is important.
So is shitting and scrolling.
I'm worried about you.
Babe, depression sucks, but I'm used to it. I just gotta wait it out for a couple months.
I mean, did something happen? Is this about Vine shutting down?
I will mourn the death of Vine for literally all of time, but no, it's not that.
I feel like after I've done a lot of filming or after I've done like performing on stage, I need to like be alone in my room and just we call it turtle time in my apartment when one of us needs to just like hide in our shell, and it's like no one judges. It doesn't have to do with other people. It's just like I personally need to take a second to like frown for 8 hours.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We all need that time. I need like an hour of it, a day, but then I'm like,
I know, I'm like a bit emo. I think I need a bit much, but
no, dude. But you know what I will say, and
happens.
this is like, whenever I feel like I come with the funniest content or just ideas is when I'm pissed off or when I'm tired.
Yes.
So therefore, you're coming up with ideas probably all the time when you're in those turtle zones. You know what I mean? Turtle it up, baby, because you're coming up with some good shit.
Honestly, like all of season 3, I was super, super depressed in 2017. And I started writing it, I think, then.
Okay.
Because all I was doing, I wasn't really doing creative work. I guess journaling is still creative, but I was just journaling all the time. I was like, I'm sad, I'm angry, whatever. And all of those, like, honestly, hundreds maybe of pages of, like, emo journaling turned into the script of Dating Myself.
Yeah.
So I'm like...
So that's where that came from? So like you were
Yes.
going through a hard time.
I need to take these off. They keep sliding off my nose.
Perfect.
Anyway.
I'll wear them.
Oh my gosh.
I would probably go blind.
Yeah, you will.
'Cause I-
Studious looking, right?
Yeah, do I have like a sexy library?
They might be a little
You know what's
sweaty. I'm
weird?
embarrassed.
If I, like-
Okay, you look really cute.
Do I need glasses?
That's when people try on my glasses and they're like, "Oh my God, I love this." I'm like, "You should."
This
go
is
to
what
the
we
eye
learned from
doctor."
this episode. It's like, Haley needs to be wearing glasses and should have been wearing them years ago.
Yeah.
Whew. All right. Well, anyways, back to you. Back to you, Caroline. How did you come up with the whole concept? Like, you were going through a hard time, you were writing all those pages, and then you were like, oh, I should just make this into a show?
Well, for season 1 and 2, I honestly, it was just like, I feel like a lonely loser because I'm like single as fuck. So I was like, I originally was gonna write.
I mean, same.
Yeah.
But,
I originally was going to write like a creative nonfiction novel about like how to be single and like how to be alone, and it was very heartfelt. And then after like a day of doing that, I was like, this is not it. Like I'm like, I can't even take myself seriously. And it definitely was like a sad time in my life, but obviously like everyone else who does comedy, it's very therapeutic to like be able to laugh about it. And so I just did that, and I just like sat down. I don't know, I wrote the first season in like a week because I just kept thinking of like, I feel like all of season 1 is what's the worst possible way this can go?
Yeah.
Because that's how my mind works. Every time I go on a first date, I'm like, what's the worst thing? And I have fucking IBS, so my mind is always like, I'm gonna shit my pants. I'm gonna shit my pants. That's how this is gonna end. And they're gonna be like, then I will be like the story of the worst date they ever had is the girl who shit her pants. And I'm like, has that ever happened to me? Literally not once in my life, but my mind is like, well, I have a whole episode called IBS, and it's like our most viewed episode. I think because a lot of people
have IBS.
A lot of people have IBS.
Again, relatable.
Yes.
People are like, well, that's me.
We've gotten to work with like the most incredible people, and every time I'm kind of like, why do you want to work with me? Like, just because they are so legitimate to me, but I don't know, I think it's a fun project, and I think people are excited to be a part of it, and then I love it, and I feel like I've created a nice little community of artist friends to like work on this with.
Which is like every freaking episode I'm like, community is so important and community is everything.
Yes.
Because when you're down and when you can't like fight for yourself, your friends can come in and be like, nope, this is who you are, you got this.
And I feel like that's always been the underlying story of Dating Myself as a show, especially in season 2 and 3. Especially in season 2, I feel like that fuckboys come and go, BFFs are forever.
That's right.
Write
baby.
it down. That's the truth.
the title of this episode.
Yeah. But it's true, and I've learned that, like, I don't know, it's like, I feel like I've been really lucky to have so many, like, incredible friends in my life. Actually, one of my very best friends, Allie, directed season 3, and she's been involved with it since season 1. We lived together, and she, like, helped me find the director and helped me, like, set the whole fucking thing up.
Wow.
And then, since then, we've just worked more and more and became better friends.
Your third season was all women, right?
The whole crew, yeah, it was all women, and it was so much fun.
I bet.
Like, I loved the people we worked with on season 1 and 2. The dudes we worked with were, like, fantastic. Yeah. But it's just, it definitely is a different vibe when it's, like, all women.
Yeah.
It just, the communication felt on point. We finished early every day, and...
Women are amazing.
Females are strong as hell.
We are very, yep.
Yeah.
We are.
So I feel super lucky to have gotten to work with them, and I'm like so excited. I've written a short film, and I really want to. I'm hoping I can like get the gang back together.
Oh my gosh! So what's your why? Your main why behind Dating Myself? Like, what do you want people to feel when they watch the episodes and the show, and what do you want to portray? And yeah.
I feel like. I hope people feel like, I'm just gonna say like, you got a friend.
You got a friend.
But it is that, like, I want people to feel, I feel like that's, I will say all of my sharing feels, I've joked that it kind of feels like compulsive, that like I feel like a compulsive oversharer because my anxiety, my whole life when I've been anxious, it's like if I can tell someone, then I feel like the weight is off my chest and I can get it out into the open and be honest about it. So, and people have said that's like brave, and I love when people say that, but I'm also like, honestly, I can't not do this because I will explode.
Yeah.
But like, I hope in doing that, and I think it has happened, that people are like, fuck, me too. And it's, I hope people, yeah, you said it's relatable, and that makes me so happy because I feel like in theater school we learned about like specificity is what makes things universal, and even if people haven't experienced like clinical depression, or if they haven't experienced like the shitty dates that I like haven't, like I feel like it's still universal.
Right.
And I just hope that people can feel less alone in things. Like even though it's all so jokey and fun, I really just hope all of my writing, all of my work, I always just want people to feel like less alone in this like scary, shitty world.
Yeah, I mean, same. And it's like comedy did that for me growing up. Like, especially if I was really sad or upset, like I would just, watch. I love Modern Family. I still watch that, or The Office. Like if I'm feeling really sad, I'll just turn that on, and like it brings me out of like a weird head state.
Yeah,
and
it's comforting.
Yeah.
And I actually got a message from one of my good friends saying that she watched it and she's going through a depressive episode right now, and she said like she showed it to her boyfriend to kind of be like, hey,
this is what's happening.
Yeah. But she said it helped her to like get up the next morning and like keep fucking moving, and that was really powerful to me and made me really happy.
I always think about like this, like in high school, you know, something would happen and it was like the end of the world. Like you would just, you know, break up with a boyfriend, and I was devastated for like 5 years. And now I look
Okay, you
back.
told me you're a Virgo, and I'm like, that checks out as an earth sign. Like, I'm a Taurus, a fellow earth sign, and I'm like, I cling to this
Yeah,
shit.
like if I'm in a relationship, I'm in it.
Yeah.
And so, but now looking back, like my breakups as an adult are way more chill though. Like now they're just conversations. It's not that dramatic. It's sad, but it's not like a life altering ending thing. And thank God, because if every breakup I had since then was 5 years ago, I would be like, I wouldn't be here probably.
Yeah,
But you know, you learn so much through every hardship that you go through, and you learn about like what you need as a person and what you want and don't want. And you can't figure that out unless shit hits the fan. That's not just with dating. That's with like career stuff. That's with like friendships. That's with family. Like,
that's when you do have the most like growth.
yeah, it's in the valleys, and then you come back up and you're at a peak. But then you eventually you're gonna go down again, and that's okay. Like that's life. And I always think
I
like,
have to remember that there are like seasons.
yeah. And it's always like, I remember I used to think, my mindset for a long time was like, okay, one day I'll be here. Like one day I'll think this way. But that's not how it works. Like it's like this. It's just a continual circle, and you're just gonna like say,
Because
you
you
know,
face
sadness
the same things time and time again.
And so, you know, like the hope is like, okay, for example, like the one I just used, you have a really bad breakup in high school, you grow and you learn from it and you date people on the way, and then you hit the same thing where you're really in love with this person, it's really hard, but you see it differently, and you're like, this isn't the end of the world, and you can like come back, and you just grow, and you're learning. And so, to me, like, and we can get so deep about that, because when I think about like circles and just like this continual thing, like you're just trying to always get to, and my belief is like, God, and which is like your higher self. Like your meditation does that, like prayer does that. And for me, like I said, prayer and meditation have been super powerful with dealing with anxiety and depression. And even this last week, I was literally I had an anxiety attack when I was working, like while I was shooting, and I couldn't show it. And so I couldn't breathe, and I was like obviously in my head, but I literally was on the job. And so I was like, okay, just finish 2 more minutes, and then I can go back inside and I can freak out in my room. But like, you know, it's
so hard.
Yeah, but everyone goes through it. And it's just like, you just gotta you just gotta learn techniques like how to like not die. But
that's where my mind always goes. Like I'll have these like repetitive thoughts of like, I'm gonna die, and I have to stop myself and think like, okay, but are you, like, this is not a life-threatening situation, but that's like instantly where my body goes.
Yeah.
My mom actually, when I was like a little kid, because I've been anxious since I was like a child, like I've always been an anxious motherfucker. And with like prayer and stuff, it just reminded me that my mom would always be like, just say 10 Hail Marys, Caroline. And I'm like, now that I am where I am, I'm like, I love you so much, Mom. It didn't really help, but like I love that was, she gave me like a little worry stone to put in my pocket, and I'm like, I admire so much her like valiant efforts to like cut it out, but here I am 20 years later, it's still
Every day is a winding road.
Get a little bit closer.
Yeah. I want to hear the craziest dating story that you've ever had.
I think like one of the weirdest nights I've had was this dude I hooked up with who then like ended up having a different name than I like thought.
That he thought, or that he told you?
Okay, so his name, and I'm just gonna say because like he does not, there's no way he's gonna watch this, but his name was Lane. The name he told me was Lane. The name on his dating profile was Lane. And then later, like, because I had his phone number, Instagram suggested I follow someone named Noah, and click on it, and it's like 1000% him, and I was like, maybe he has a twin. Okay, so I guess his grandma's name was Lynn, and she passed away, so in her honor, he...
Okay, that's some bullshit. That guy was lying to you straight up.
It was very weird.
Does he have a family on the side and some kids?
Honestly, probably.
Probably. Lane's
He had the same birthday as my first ex-boyfriend.
And also, like, any guy No, you don't have like a whole another Instagram with a fake name.
I know.
And then, but then another Instagram with your real name.
No, and then when I said, I was like, hey,
he's lying to you, bro.
I know. And when I called him out on it, I was like, hey, like, so random Instagram.
How did you say that?
I know. I was texting him. I was like, Instagram, like, just suggested I follow someone named Noah, and like, but it's like you. And then he was like, hey, I like to keep my dating life separate. Like, he thought I was asking to, like, follow him, and I was like, don't get it twisted, okay? Like, I'm not trying to follow you, I'm just trying to know, like, literally what the fuck your name is, because I didn't know what to call him.
Okay, but also,
I had him saved in my phone as Lane/Noah.
Yeah, we don't know. But also, any guy that's like, I'm trying to keep my dating life separate, has a girlfriend. Or something is fishy.
Oh my gosh.
100%. 100%.
So
Why would he...
I know.
He's not in the fucking CIA.
I know.
I mean, maybe, but probably not. He would be a lot
men
smarter.
Are so shady.
He would be a lot
That's
smarter
true.
with his Instagram if he's in the CIA, and he's not. He wouldn't even have an Instagram, one. And two, dude, that's...
It was so weird.
What dating app should be on?
I think Tinder or something.
Well, there you go.
I know.
There you go,
What was
people.
I thinking?
What were you thinking?
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get, like, imposter syndrome where it's, like, I forget all the time. I'm like, okay, but, like, I do have a show. Like, I am a writer. I'm not just someone who is, like, it's, like, a little hobby.
Right. You know what? I'm like...
This is my life.
As you're talking, I'm like, I don't think I... I definitely have imposter syndrome, because even when I introduce myself or someone asks me what I do, I'm like, I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, and I have a late night show on the side on YouTube, but it's really small.
I know.
But it's really small.
And I hate...
And no one watches
I always give the... What is it called? I always say that after part where it's like, I'll say I'm a writer, but I'm not getting paid for it, or like, but I only do my own show, or like whatever it is. And I'm like, Caroline, you don't have to sell yourself short. Because also I feel like, especially when it's people who are, have been in the industry for longer, or who are older than me, sometimes I feel like I can sense that they think I'm so, like, green and new, and so I kind of want to put myself down before they can judge me for thinking, like, oh, this bitch thinks she's, like, in Hollywood just because she has a web series. Because I also feel like when I tell people, oh, my web series is about dating in LA, I feel like people are like, okay, like, that's pretty generic, but I know it's not generic. Like, I know I have a unique voice and like, a unique story, like, to share. I want to talk more about, like, mental illness stuff, and the short film is about suicide, but it's funny, but it's sad, but it's, like, heartwarming and cool. It has a lot of the same vibe as season 3, but I think for me personally, I wanted to take it a step further and be able to talk about something that's even more taboo and that people are even more afraid to talk about. But I'm like, there's no way we're going to be able to, like, help each other through feelings like that if we're not, like, having very open, honest conversations about it. So I hope that that can help, like, even more, because it's still funny, and it's still, to me, it's still a film about friendship, because it's about these friends, like, my character trying to help this other character, like, through this shit, and so I feel like just, everything I write, I want it to feel like, let's feel less alone, and let's make this about community. So I'm really excited to film that. I'm going to direct it, too. That's going to be my directing, like,
hell
debut.
yes.
So I'm, like, super excited. But definitely, like, heavy, like, I kind of feel scared when I tell people that it's, like, about suicide, because it is, like, this scary thing that I feel like I don't want to talk about, other people don't want to talk about. Yeah. And I'm, like, scared that I'm, like, did I bring the whole mood down? But, like, it's still, again, I'm just, like, I just want to have, like, frank conversations about it.
So 2 of my cousins committed suicide a year ago, and then one of my really good friends from high school. So, like, when A Star is Born came out and I saw that movie, it was, like, right after, and I was, like, sobbing in the parking lot, and my old assistant was with me. It was the first time we hung out together outside of work. And I was just sobbing.
Yeah.
Like, and she was like, okay, it's gonna be fine. And I was like, ah! And so, no, I think it's so important to talk about these things. And suicide's very real. Like, and I've talked about this with friends, but, you know, like, I thankfully have never had, like, actual suicidal thoughts. My thoughts go more to, like, and I started therapy recently, and I was talking to my therapist, because my thoughts are, like, it would just be easier to be with God. Like, it would be easier for me to be in heaven with Jesus. Like, that's what I think of in my head. And so, and I think about that, and it gets me really excited. but it is kind of like still kind of dark, you know, to think about. And so I was asking her, I was like, is that bad that I'm thinking that? And she's like, no, like that's not. And so yeah, even just like in my own head, me thinking I'm being taboo or I'm having, you know, bad thoughts and bad thoughts.
But that's the thing is like, I'm realizing it's like, even that is more universal than I realize. Because again, it's like, to even say the word suicide feels so like, no, bad. So.
Well, it's really, I mean, it's really, like if I really sit here and think about it, it makes me want to cry. Like it's,
it's
really sad. It's, and it's horrible. So, but it's very important. Like I think that with everything that you do in life, like I just think it's important to have a why, right? And to like, and to know, and to be doing stuff for other people. And what you're doing is, like I said, with, you know, dating myself, you're talking about depression, you're talking about dating, you're making it less taboo, and you're bringing comedic relief into that. And so with suicide, it's the same thing. Like it's a real thing. It's not going to go away. Hopefully it will get better, but it's only going to get better if people talk about it. And so you're doing something really cool, and I think that's going to impact a lot of people. So I can't wait to see like what comes of that. And you're really cool. So proud of you.
You're really cool.
Your
Thank
heart
you for
is
having
amazing.
me on.
I'm so
you.
excited you came on the show. This has been really cool. I know people watching this are gonna hopefully feel really inspired. And so, you're great, girl. Oh my gosh. Well, okay. Tell everybody where they can follow you, find Dating Myself.
Should I
all
look
the
into the
things.
camera?
This is your baby over here.
You can follow me at Caroline Honey, Hoene, on Instagram and Twitter. You can find Dating Myself, all 3 seasons, if you just go on YouTube and search Dating Myself. I'm also, Dating Myself has a Twitter account at Dating Myself Show, SHO, because the W wouldn't fit. And then Instagram is Dating Myself Series. Also, didn't get to talk about much, but or at all, but I have a podcast with one of my best friends, Kelsey, called Clitlit, and that's on Twitter and Instagram at Clitlit Pod. So we talk all about, it's all about mental illness and like self-help books, and we have a lot of like comedians come on, so it's super fun. And
every Tuesday night I will have a new episode, 8 p.m. on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, Land a Late Night, and click the notifications button so you get alerted every week. Yeah, thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
One last cheers, baby.
Yes.
She's drinking tequila. I got
watered down.
Watered down tequila. Y'all have a great week.